And when we say give them what they want, we're not suggesting like free first round picks and then 5 players. I mean, it would be 1 or 2 players mixed in. I guess the point is that if all goes well, these first round picks are going to be way at the end of the draft and basically second rounders. I mean, they're going to be essentially worthless. I mean, that's what, if you're a great team, that's the whole plan. So to give those away, you just named 6 guys that amounted to nothing.
Mm-hmm.
All first rounders.
So that's why, like, I like give up 3 first rounders. Okay, here you can have them. Take them. I mean,
okay. So what happens if Watson doesn't work out?
I mean, the odds of that.
I was gonna say, what are the odds that happens?
What happens if those draft picks don't work out, which is higher odds than Deshaun Watson, who's put numbers and numbers and numbers on paper through the last 4 or 5 years that he's been playing. I mean, I'm going to take my odds on that one because I've seen it.
What happens if we have such a young core right now?
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen much of them. Mm-hmm. We haven't seen what they can do. What happens if Jerry Jeudy doesn't work out? What happens if we lose Courtland Sutton
again?
What is that?
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, we're giving up the next 3 years of first round picks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that also doesn't mean that we can't trade away a player and get a first round pick back. Or, I mean, most of the draft hits are going to be in the 2nd through the 6th round, anyways.
Who you can trade away?
But also, if you're successful, you're going to be more attractive on the free agent market as well as a destination.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, we're completely forgetting free agency, which is one of the reasons why the Bucs won the Super Bowl was free agency. So I get wanting to have those first round picks, but if we give up 3 first round picks and 3 second round picks, that means 3 years of mostly going in free agency and taking a chance in the 3rd to 6th round.
And don't get me wrong,
I'm not bothered by that at all because John Elway, he utilized free agency quite a bit. So
don't get me wrong, I love Jeudy and I love Fant, but if you're telling me I can get Deshaun Watson and I have to find another receiver, a wide receiver, another tight end, like okay.
Not just a wide receiver, you have to have some playmakers that are on the field.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. You have to have the guy. You have to have 1 or 2 guys on the field that are making plays.
And they're still free agents. There's still 6 more rounds in that draft for the next 3 years. Like, look at Aaron Rodgers. He's had Devontae Adams. And then who else?
Jordan Love.
Randall Cobb.
You know what I mean? Like he does.
Robert Tonyan.
If you're or look at Mahomes, he has Tyreek, and then you kind of go down the line of like Sammy Watkins, maybe Mecole Hardman. That it's kind of like different levels, right? You always have that one potential. So like a Courtland Sutton.
Well, basically, Carolina, the Panthers have set the bar kind of as to what Houston might be looking for in terms of picks. Because Carolina's throwing Christian McCaffrey, probably one of the best running backs in this league, into that mix. And I just don't think that Watson would want to go to a team that's almost, if you take those picks out and you take out McCaffrey, there's really no running game. As much as I like to say Mike Davis can carry the Panthers, it'd be basically going from one team scheme to another, and it's almost resembling the same thing. So at the end of the day, even if Denver does give up the first round picks and a player that the Texans may be interested in, no matter who it be, it also comes down to Watson having to give the thumbs up because he has a no trade clause. So my only biggest thing with Watson is that if he does come in and the Broncos shell out the first picks, which you guys say wouldn't matter or whatever, or we lose a key veteran player on whichever side of the ball is, the thing that would mess with me is that if Deshaun Watson cannot win a division and get us into a wild card, that's one thing. But if Deshaun Watson comes in and he cannot get us a Super Bowl victory and we have to still sit from the elimination couch and watch other players that could have been Broncos on another team go off into a Super Bowl and win, even though those odds are high and whatever you want to say, I think that to me would hurt a whole lot more than taking the risk with having that selected player come onto the Broncos and try out. That's all I'm just saying, especially with the price tag with Watson going to be much higher for every offseason that the Broncos cannot get to a Super Bowl.
See, I think it's more painful to be sitting there with a single-digit draft pick, not because you traded into that spot, but because you sucked so bad.
You awarded it.
Who do you want to compete with? Who's in our own division, man? Like,
That's
we have
what
Herbert and Mahomes already. What do you want? Like, it's a lot harder to build a whole entire team of 11 players on each side that can compete against those than it is to find. You have Deshaun Watson right here. Here you go, and he can handle your offense. It doesn't matter who did he have in Houston. They kept taking people away from him, and then he put up the highest numbers he's ever put. So. Deshaun Watson, if possible.
Mohamed Badri.
Best. Oh, so I'm sorry. Go ahead with Mo.
Oh, he was going to say the same argument could be made. The next 3 first-round picks could be a blue chip player. We need to know. They could be. Deshaun Watson is. So that's kind of the whole point. Is like in the history of first-round draft picks, how many work out compared to how many fail? You know, the percentage of how many first-rounders fail is a whole lot higher than the amount of first-rounders that actually work out and have a full-length career in the NFL. So if you get a Deshaun Watson or someone of that caliber that becomes available, you almost have to. Like, there really isn't a choice.
I mean, would you give up, say we get Caleb Farley this year? You wouldn't give up Caleb Farley for Deshaun Watson?
That would be weird.
I mean,
like draft him and then trade him? Because that.
I know. I'm just saying, like, that's pretty essentially the same thing.
I was going to say nobody does that, but they do. They do that.
Like, Max referenced Carolina putting Christian McCaffrey out there, and I love McCaffrey, but he is under a huge contract. If I'm the Panthers, I do that deal all day long. They had a solid running game when McCaffrey was gone, and they have a solid receiving game. To have that kind of quarterback upgrade from Teddy Bridgewater, are you kidding me? But for us, positional, yeah. But for us, Boggins said it. We're now competing with our own division. We can't trade our way out of there. We're stuck in with these other 3 teams, and if they're killing it right now in terms of the leadership under center, and it's young leadership. We're not talking about 34-year-old quarterbacks that have 3 more years, and then those teams are going to be a downgrade. We're talking about guys that are 24, 23, 25 years old that are going to be there for ages. So we have to do something to ensure, and you got to put your best foot forward. And none of this is saying that we don't like Drew Lock. I mean, I've got his jersey hanging right here. I love Drew, but when there's an opportunity and a potential quarterback that is top 3, top 4, I mean, you got to go for it. We have enough weapons. We have enough weapons in house that giving some up, we're still stacked.
I'll put it this way: if Watson went to the Raiders, no one would be talking about the draft picks. Everyone would be talking about how there's Watson, Herbert, and Mahomes in the AFC West. That's all they'd be talking about, because that's the truth. Because that's how much that position matters. There's nothing even close to it besides, I mean, the next closest is probably left tackle and then like edge rusher. But it's still.
And of course, there's no guarantees. I mean, the guy could go down with an injury in the first preseason game. I mean, how tragic would that be? But you got to put your best foot forward. Only one team can win, and why not us?